Hey there! I feel really inspired to make a video right now and just lay a little bit of groundwork, or just maybe talk a little bit about the main topics that my new art series is going to be centered around and focusing on. This name of the series is called The Awakening of the Senses, and it's talking about, well, I mean, who knows what it's really going to say, but kind of what I'm seeing and receiving is that it's going to be talking about the interconnectedness of spirituality and physicality, and how our physical body is this, as St. Paul talked about it, a tent, and the physical body is our way of truly connecting with our inner being. And I guess it's very hard to explain, and I'm still learning all of it and understanding it, but it's really kind of about embodying your true self and embodying the Holy Spirit and the inner being and living from that place of true alignment, and recognizing how your spiritual body can be a tool towards your spiritual growth. And when I say you, I'm talking about me, just everyone, and humanity in general. But I think it's really exciting for me to be able to talk about these things in my paintings, but also I'm going to be writing about it and making videos about it, just because it's such a great way to grow myself, to be able to sit and talk, like speak the words, because the painting and the writing come easier to me. So this speaking is such a great, I mean, it is one of our senses, like our sense of hearing, being able to hear someone talking truth, and also then our speech or taste. I don't know, I feel like they're so connected, but being able to voice our truth. And I am in a different place in my life right now. I don't know if anyone's watched some of my other videos, but maybe it comes through, maybe it doesn't. And part of me is a little bit nervous to be talking, because my vocabulary is changing, my beliefs are changing, a lot of who I am is really starting to truly align with the Holy Spirit, and not align so much with these false walls that I've put up to protect myself and my personality and my identity. So a lot of the things I'm going to be saying, it's almost like part of me is, I guess, that old part of me that's going away, that's still like trying to linger, is being afraid of how it might come across. And I guess the higher self inside of me knows that I have to speak my truth. I don't need to hold back anymore, and I'm brave enough now, finally. And it's really such an amazing feeling, and I know that the confidence is going to continue to grow. So some of the things I really want to talk about in this series are they're counter to some of the things I grew up believing. And I think that some of the culture that I grew up in was talking about the evilness of the human body and the physical evilness, which I can understand, where things, there's so many different pathways people come down to be able to come to an understanding. And I understand that old man, that old self, and it's easy to attach the old self to the physical body, because it's the easiest thing to identify with, is the form that is so easy to see and feel. All these senses are so easy to identify with, and they become almost like that sin half. But the truth of the matter is, they are whole and perfect. We were made in perfection and wholeness, and we were made in this Christ. We have this Christ body and God DNA inside of us. So why shouldn't we see the divinity of our own physicality? So I guess taking a second just to pause and figure out where I'm at in my thought process and what I'm trying to say. The things that I grew up learning have in some way created, at some point in my life, were creating a wall for me. And I wasn't able to actually, I wasn't able to truly grasp the spiritual truth within my own body. And I know that the body is temporal, it's not eternal, and we don't put as much value on the physical body because of its temporary existence, and it's not truly what matters. But there is so much power within our voice, or within many of the senses, all of our senses, and even that sixth sense, that emotional sense, that spiritual center. There's so much that can be blocked off if we have this view of an evil surface area. And there's so much splitting that happens with that, where I'm like, well, this part of me's not real, and this part of me's real, and this part's bad, and this part's good. And there's just so many walls that are finally falling down around those areas and allowing true embodiment. So this series is about embodiment of your true spiritual essence, your being. It's about presence. It's about embodying Christ, embodying God, embodying the Holy Spirit, being God to your life and to the people in your life. And not that you are the source of all things, but you have the source of all things within you. You have access to the source of all things within you. And there's no reason we should ever belittle that in any way. And I think that a lot of times we've seen this spiritual world and this physical world as side-by-side realms of like mirrors. There's like not really that connection there. It's just a mirror. But in reality, they're interwoven in so many ways that we could never understand. And part of me wants to explore some of the ways that they are connected, that I can understand, try to just integrate some wisdom into my life in those areas. And I'm just really excited to be able to do that. So I guess one other core piece of this series I could talk about too is just that the body is like a gateway into spirituality. So this painting in particular I'm going to talk more about, but it is talking about like chill bumps, and I decided to use that subject as my first painting because it's almost like the very first thing you recognize. Because, I mean, I'll talk about it more, but it's so exciting. Okay, that was a little bit just going on a rabbit trail. I'm excited to talk about this painting. I really am. I just want to save it till I understand a little bit better. So I guess just going back to my personal life, it's changing, and for the better, thank goodness, and maybe for the worst, but you know, the worst is always for the better. Anyways, my life is, things are different for me, and so things are going to be different in my art business, and I'm really looking for my art to be this access point, this added extra access point to consciousness and to deep wisdom and to a knowledge of presence. I don't know if knowledge is the right word, but this access point of the presence of God, something that reminds people, something that like brings your consciousness to a different place, kind of like a meditation or something. You're not in those same habitual patterns of your identity that you're used to. So lots of stuff in there. What else is something I want to say? I guess just these videos, what I'm excited about is to be talking about my work. I want to talk more about my artwork. I want to go back and make videos of some of these pieces I've created in here, and what they mean to me, because there's so much there, and I think there's a lot there for other people to find their own meaning to. So yeah, I'm just really excited to be able to do this. If you want to let me know your thoughts on this subject, I'm looking to create a community around my work and get some of these very transformational truths out into other people's lives. So I'm definitely looking for people to come alongside me and join me in this journey. Yeah, so if that sounds like something that inspires you, reach out and I'd love to start a conversation.